Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Multiverse. Again, before you dislike and unsubscribe, Jimmy will be back in a couple days. I'm filling in while we cover all the Comic-Con news and all the new Fantastic Four, Galactus, and RDJ news, because there's a lot to go over, but Jimmy will be back in a couple days, and we're going to be pumping out news videos, theory videos, leaks, rumor videos, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell and do all the YouTube things to make sure you're up to date on everything. But in this video, we are going to go over some details that have been coming out about First Steps, which is the new subtitle for the Fantastic Four movie. I mentioned in the last video that I'm kind of iffy on the subtitle, but you know, subtitles are the way to go these days, especially since this is going to be a Fantastic Four movie, and they're not about to call this Fantastic Four, because that would be the third theatrical live-action movie just called Fantastic Four. So, for the sake of the video, I'm just going to be calling this movie Fantastic Four, but would just know that I'm referring to First Steps, because some new information has come out about it, and we are going to go over everything. And this information pertains to not only how RDJ is going to be introduced as Doctor Doom and how his story is going to fit into the current MCU, but it also pertains to Galactus, who is supposedly going to be this movie's big main villain. So take this all with a grain of salt. Obviously nothing here is confirmed. This hasn't been officially reported by Marvel, but allegedly, and I can't find the original source for this, but according to the internet, according to the Reddits, this information is all stemming from the same person who correctly leaked that RDJ was going to be revealed as Doctor Doom at Comic-Con. So there's still something to be said for these rumors. They're not 100% confirmed, and you know what? The internet could be lying. The internet lies sometimes. That's the fun of it. The internet is like digging a hole on the beach. Sometimes you'll find something really cool, but most of the time it's not really cool, but you still go and dig holes on the beach because you never know when that next really cool bit of discovery is going to be. So take it all with a grain of salt. This could be completely right, or it could just be another empty hole on the beach. But according to the sources, Robert Downey Jr.'s first appearance as Doctor Doom will actually be in the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four. It will not be in Avengers Doomsday. We know that RDJ is signed on for Avengers Doomsday, we know he's signed on for Avengers Secret Wars, and we know that he's apparently getting paid 9 figures for this role, which, dude, get the bread. A lot of actors have come out and said that they just, like, it's hard to get work after being in Marvel movies, be it because they're too expensive, or they're just too tired, or they're too typecast as a certain role. So I love seeing actors go out and branch out and get to do their own thing, like Robert Downey Jr. has been doing since leaving Marvel, but then come back and get a gigantic payout. I'm not even mad. This is incredible business strategy from RDJ. If you can get that paycheck, get that paycheck. Although I'm loving all the memes about how this movie's special effects budget's going to look once RDJ's check clears. I saw one yesterday that was saying that Avengers 5 and 6 special effects are going to be like CW Supergirl once Robert Downey Jr. is paid. I cannot imagine how expensive these two movies are going to get, but yeah, apparently the Russo brothers are getting $80 million for the two Avengers movies, and RDJ is getting substantially more than $80 million for the two Avengers movies. But the point I'm getting at, the reason I'm bringing all this up, is that even though Marvel has confirmed Robert Downey Jr. will be Doctor Doom in the two Avengers movies, they have not said anything about the Fantastic Four movie. They've implied that he will not be in the Fantastic Four movie, and according to this source, he will not be in the main Fantastic Four movie, but he will be making his debut in the post-credit scene, which makes sense because I don't think Marvel would introduce Doctor Doom in the movie called Avengers Doomsday. It just doesn't seem like something they would do. It just seems like a weird move from a storytelling standpoint to introduce this franchise's big bad guy in the movie that starts the showdown with the big bad guy. I think Fantastic Four is going to establish Doctor Doom as a character that exists, and if Marvel is putting over $100 million in Robert Downey Jr.'s pocket, you bet they're going to use his face wherever they can, use his presence wherever they can, which means they're absolutely going to shove him in the post-credit scene or somewhere in the Fantastic Four movie. But I guess you heard it here first, according to the source, allegedly, that correctly reported that Robert Downey Jr. would be revealed as Doom at Comic-Con. That same source, allegedly, is now saying he's going to make his debut in the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four. So assuming this is all true, Doom will not really play a role in the movie, but he will be teased at the end and set up how he's going to come and make everything all terrible in Avengers Doomsday. I'm still on the fence about whether or not I actually think this is a good idea. I think in concept, having Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom opens up some very interesting storytelling opportunities. But in case you didn't watch the last video, the TLDR of my opinion on these things is that when you bring in Robert Downey Jr. to play a character that is not Tony Stark in a universe where everyone knows Tony Stark and knows what Tony Stark looks like, you're either going to have him masked the entire time, which for Doom would make sense, but for a live action movie where you paid $100 million for an actor's face on the screen, it doesn't make sense. Meaning Doctor Doom will absolutely be showing his face, which also means this version of Doctor Doom is going to be straying pretty far from the comics version of Doctor Doom. And I am, let's just say, skeptical of how that's going to end. But anyways, Galactus is shaping up to be the main villain of the Fantastic Four movie, and I have a few other concerns about that. Galactus was teased at Comic-Con. There was a brief shot. I don't know if we can put it on screen because I'm not sure just how copyrighted this is going to be, but there's a shot that's been going around the internet of Galactus peering in through a building's window, and you can just get a glimpse of his eyes. And he does look a bit more human than cosmic like he does in the comics. In the comics and cartoons, he's this gigantic cosmic being. And if you want the elite form of Galactus, go look at the one in Lego Marvel Superheroes. That one will give you nightmares. And I think a lot of people, myself included, were interested as to how he was going to translate to live action, because Galactus as a character is someone that would be, I imagine, kind of goofy in live action, unless you really lean into his cosmic side. But with this teaser that's been going around of his eyes and the windows, it looks like it's going to be some kind of motion capped live actor being Galactus with a realistic looking face, and I'm questioning how good that's going to look on a big screen. Marvel kind of has a history of not so expertly imposing live actors' faces onto CGI models, but you know, maybe they've gotten better. And there's a popular theory going around stating that Galactus is the way he's going to be introduced to the MCU, and the way that he's going to be used in the Fantastic Four movie is that he's going to be the big bad, he's going to be the big looming threat, and then he is going to actually end the universe in which the movie starts in, and that's going to send the Fantastic Four to Earth 616. Eventually Galactus will follow to 616, but then this way you can have a lore reason as to why the Fantastic Four haven't been on Earth 616 up to this point, and you can also establish Galactus as a big, looming, powerful, universe-ending threat without introducing Galactus to 616 and then having him just kind of sit there and not do anything for a few movies, because obviously Galactus can't end the universe 616 in the Fantastic Four movie. They're not going to do that. But if they were going to introduce Galactus to 616 and have him not consume the universe, or have him be defeated or, you know, fended off in the Fantastic Four movie, that would completely ruin the power rankings. It would completely just demean him as a threat to this universe and to any universe. Basically, he would get the Kang treatment, where we were told that Kang the Conqueror was going to be this big overarching threat, this big multiversal threat, and then we go and watch Ant-Man 3, and he gets beaten up by Paul Rudd and his friends, and now nobody can take him seriously. You never saw Thanos getting beaten up in the movies leading up to Avengers Infinity War, and even in Infinity War, the guy wins. You don't see Thanos get beaten until, like, what, the 4th, 5th movie where he appears? So if you're going to introduce Galactus in the Fantastic Four movie, he cannot be defeated in any way, or else the power ranking of the Multiverse saga is going to be ruined again. And since basically everything going forward is a pretty blatant course correction from Marvel, I don't think they're going to do that. The worst thing you can do to a cinematic universe is make it difficult to understand how powerful everyone is in relation to everyone else. That's one of the worst things you can do for world building, and since Marvel is desperately trying to get everything back on track right now, I don't think they're going to have Galactus lose in any capacity in the Fantastic Four movie. And that said, I don't think they're going to introduce Robert Downey Jr. as Doom either, because showing him really at all and not having him wreck absolutely everything the way Doom should, that would ruin the power rankings and destroy the overarching thread of this story. But let us know what you guys think. Do you think RDJ is going to show up in the Fantastic Four movie, or do you think he's just going to get teased in the post-credit scene? Do you think he's actually going to play a role in the movie and they just haven't revealed that yet? And how do you think Galactus is going to be handled? So just let us know. Jimmy will be back in a couple days and you can talk to him again. I hope you enjoyed my fill-ins, because if you didn't, that sucks. Okay, see you in the next video.